In the weeks following our backyard wedding, I felt lighter than I ever had before. The photographs captured every detail, my hair loose in the evening breeze, Charles gazing at me as though I were the only person on earth, Grandma raising a glass of lemonade in celebration. Those moments became my treasure, proof that happiness didn't need approval or expensive venues, it needed love, sincerity, and courage. But my parents' silence was deafening. They hadn't called, texted, or sent a single word, not even to acknowledge that their only daughter had married. At first, I told myself I didn't care. I buried myself in work at the marketing firm, where I had recently been promoted to project manager. Charles and I built our home together, assembling mismatched furniture, laughing over cooking disasters, and creating small rituals like Friday night movie marathons. Still, at night, I sometimes lay awake, wondering if my parents even regretted missing my wedding. 3 months later, my phone buzzed with a message from my mom. "Dinner at the house this Sunday. Your father and I want to see you." I stared at the text, torn between anger and curiosity. Charles squeezed my hand when I showed him. "You don't owe them anything," he said gently. "I know," I replied, "but maybe I need to hear what they have to say." That Sunday, I drove with Charles to my childhood home. The neighborhood looked the same, yet everything felt different. When my mom opened the door, her smile was strained, her eyes flicking briefly to Charles before settling on me. My father sat in his usual recliner, Daniel lounging on the couch beside him, a smug grin plastered on his face. "Well, look who decided to show up," Daniel drawled, as if I had been the one who disappeared from their lives. I clenched my jaw but kept my composure. "You asked me here, what's this about?" My father cleared his throat, leaning forward. "Kenya, your mother and we think it's time we move past what happened with the wedding. Family should stick together." I almost laughed. Move past it? They had erased my wedding day, my milestone, as if it were a minor inconvenience, and now they wanted to sweep it under the rug? Charles squeezed my hand under the table, grounding me. "What exactly are you asking for?" I asked, my voice cool. My mother leaned in, her eyes soft but calculating. "Your brother is going through a rough patch. He lost Harley for good, and the firm hasn't been treating him fairly. He needs our support, and, well, we thought maybe you and Charles could help him get back on his feet." The room went silent. I blinked at her, stunned by the audacity. "Let me get this straight," I said slowly. "You canceled my wedding for Daniel's heartbreak. You missed the most important day of my life, and now you're asking me to bail him out?" Daniel rolled his eyes. "Don't be so dramatic, Kenya. You married your tech boy, didn't you? You're fine. I'm the one with real problems." A sharp laugh escaped me. "Real problems? Daniel, you cheated on Harley, you ruined your relationship, and if the firm isn't treating you well, maybe it's because you're not as indispensable as you think." My father slammed his hand on the armrest. "Enough, Kenya, you don't talk to your brother like that." I stood, my voice rising with years of pent-up frustration. "No, Dad, you don't talk to me like that anymore. I am done being the afterthought, the spare, the daughter who doesn't matter. I built a life without your approval, without your money, without your help, and I'm proud of it." My mother reached out, desperate. "Kenya, wait." But I shook my head. "You want me to help Daniel? Fine. Here's my advice. Let him face the consequences of his own actions. Maybe then he'll finally grow up. But I won't sacrifice my happiness to fix his messes. Not anymore." With that, I turned and walked out, Charles by my side. My heart pounded, my hands trembled, but for the first time, I felt powerful. I had faced them, not as the overlooked daughter, but as a woman who knew her worth. Outside, Charles wrapped his arm around me. "I'm proud of you," he whispered. I smiled through the tears brimming in my eyes. "For once," I said softly, "I'm proud of me too." As we drove away from the house, I glanced in the rearview mirror one last time. The home that had once been my whole world was now just a building, walls and a roof that could no longer confine me. My real home was with Charles, with the family I chose, and with the strength I had finally claimed for myself. And in that moment, I knew I would never again let anyone dim my light. The words Grandma spoke that night kept echoing in my head. "They're even planning to pay for his wedding if Harley takes him back." It felt like my heart was being squeezed in a vice. Not only had my parents chosen Daniel's heartbreak over my happiness, but they were also taking the money meant for my wedding and pouring it into his grand apology tour. My special day had been traded away, as if my vows and future didn't matter. Grandma's voice was gentle. but each word cut through the fog of my disbelief. "Sweetheart, you deserve your special day. I'll make sure you have it. I'll pay for your wedding myself." That was it. The dam broke. Tears streamed down my cheeks as I covered my face, ashamed of how deeply I was hurting but also overwhelmed by her unwavering love. She stood, shuffled around the table, and wrapped me in her arms. "No more tears, my darling," she whispered, stroking my hair the way she used to when I was little. "We've got a wedding to plan." For the first time in days, a tiny flicker of hope pushed through the storm cloud in my chest. That same night, I called Charles. My voice trembled as I explained everything: the cancelled plans, my parents' betrayal, Grandma's offer. There was silence for a moment, then he spoke with quiet strength. "Kenya, none of that matters to me. As long as I'm marrying you, the details don't matter." Relief flooded me, and I cried all over again, this time from gratitude. His parents echoed that same support. Charles's mom even clasped my hands and said, "You're family now. We stick together. Whatever you need, we're here." The next few weeks turned into a whirlwind. Grandma, Charles, his parents, and I moved like a small army, determined to pull off a miracle wedding. We called venues, negotiated contracts, rebooked caterers, and begged florists to squeeze us into their schedules. At night, Charles and I collapsed into bed exhausted, but always with a sense of purpose. Still, beneath the excitement, a bittersweet ache lingered. My parents' silence was loud. No apology, no phone call, not even a half-hearted text. Then the silence broke, loudly, messily. It started with phone calls from my mom, dozens of them. I ignored them until the voicemails piled up. Her voice, sharp with venom, accused me of manipulating Grandma, of stealing her money, of turning her against the family. Each message was harsher than the last. I deleted most of them, trying to keep my focus on the wedding, but the real blow came when Charles showed me his phone one evening. His face was pale, his jaw clenched. "Kenya, you need to see this." It was a Facebook post, written by my mother. "It breaks my heart to admit this, but my daughter Kenya has shown her true colors. She's been manipulating her poor, confused grandmother for money. She doesn't care about family, she only cares about herself. How did we raise such a selfish child?" Below, my father had commented, doubling down, "She's always been jealous of her brother. This is nothing new." The world tilted. My parents had turned me into the villain, and now the whole family, every aunt, cousin, and distant relative, was reading their version of events. I drove to Grandma's house, my body shaking with fury. She met me at the door, already armed with her iPad. "They think I don't know how to use this thing," she chuckled darkly. "Well, let's show them how wrong they are." We set up her tablet, angled the camera just right, and hit record. Her voice was steady, clear, filled with the authority of a woman who had seen a lifetime of storms and survived every one. "I'm Lakeland Thompson. I want to set the record straight. I am of sound mind, and I am deeply hurt by the lies being spread about my granddaughter, Kenya. She has not manipulated me. She has not asked me for a cent. I offered to help because I love her, because she deserves better than the treatment she's received." She laid it all out: the cancelled wedding, my parents' favoritism, their obsession with Daniel's failures. By the time she finished, tears blurred my vision. "I love both my grandchildren," she concluded, her voice breaking, "but the truth needs to be known." We posted the video that night. Within hours, it was everywhere. The family group chat exploded. Cousin Sarah defended me fiercely. Great Aunt Louise called out my father's weakness. Uncle Mason thundered back, "Lincoln, Linda, this is low. You need to fix this, now." But there were others, those who clung to my parents' side, accusing me of being ungrateful, selfish, disloyal. The family fractured into camps, and I sat in the middle, my stomach twisting as I watched decades of relationships unravel in real time. Then came the call I least expected: Uncle Ryan, my mom's brother. "Kenya," he said gently, "I saw the video. I had no idea things were this bad." I braced myself for a lecture, but instead, his voice softened. "If your dad won't walk you down the aisle, I'd be honored to." Tears spilled down my cheeks. "Uncle Ryan, yes, thank you." The day of the wedding arrived faster than I could believe. We chose intimacy over grandeur, a smaller gathering filled with only those who truly loved us. Grandma adjusted my veil with trembling hands, pride shining in her eyes. "You look just like your mother did on her wedding day, except stronger." Uncle Ryan's arm was steady as he walked me down the aisle. Charles's gaze locked on mine, and in that moment, nothing else mattered, not the drama, not the family divide, just us. We exchanged vows under a canopy of soft lights. When the officiant declared us husband and wife, the cheer that erupted was pure, genuine, free of all pretense. At the reception, laughter filled the air. Charles's parents toasted us. Grandma danced with her cane in hand, and for once, I felt surrounded by family, chosen, loyal, true. Then Grandma tapped her glass for silence. Her voice was strong, steady. I want everyone here to know something. Kenya has been through more than anyone should endure. She's shown strength, dignity, and love, and because of that, I've made my decision. She will be my sole heir. The room gasped, then erupted into applause. I threw my arms around her, sobbing into her shoulder. But peace never lasts forever. Barely a week later, my phone buzzed with fresh venom, posts from my parents, furious, accusing me of stealing their inheritance, calling me names so vile I could hardly believe they came from the people who raised me. Then my father called, his tone uncharacteristically weak. Kenya, your grandmother is threatening court. She says she has evidence of harassment. Tell her not to do anything rash. For once, the power shifted. For once, he needed me. I took a deep breath, my voice calm, steady. Tell her yourself, Dad, and while you're at it, maybe start with an apology. Click. In the months that followed, Charles and I settled into married life. We argued about dishes, made up over late-night ice cream runs, and built a little world of our own. Every Sunday, we had dinner at Grandma's, listening to her wild stories about sneaking out to see Elvis, about love letters she once hid under floorboards. Life wasn't perfect, but it was ours. As for Daniel, karma came quickly. Harley never returned. His once promising career sputtered, and without Grandma's support, even my parents couldn't cushion his failures. They clung to him desperately, but it was like watching a sinking ship. And though a small part of me pitied them, a much larger part of me finally felt free. For the first time in my life, I wasn't chasing their approval. I didn't need it. I had love, I had family, I had peace. And nothing, not Daniel's shadow, not my parents' bitterness, not even their lies, could ever take that from me again.